So good evening, everybody. Just after 7 o'clock on this Sunday evening, welcome to the latest District 91 webinar on this bitterly cold Sunday evening. We've got a bit of a different kind of webinar for you this evening and explain all very shortly. So welcome to all of our guests from District 91, 71 and the beyond world. It's great to have everybody here tonight. We are recording this session as we always do so that we can send the recording out to people that may have missed the session. This will be on YouTube, but it will be uploaded to an unlisted file, so people can't just randomly search for it. You need the link to be able to access it. If you can please have your cameras on, that would be really appreciated, because it's always good to see happy smiley faces, especially on a Sunday evening. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We will try and get them answered as best we can, either at the end or if it's at a particularly relevant point within the conversation, we'll kind of answer them then. But please, we'd love your questions. And as ever with these kind of things, no question is a silly question. It's always good to just ask the question and to get a good answer from it. Terry's in District 114. So Terry, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Any little technical points as well, drop me a message in the chat and I will see if I can deal with them. Other than that, if you can also keep your microphones muted if you're not talking, please, just so that we don't have the distractions and we don't have any issues with background noise. So let me just, there we go. So our guest this evening is Kala Flynn, and Kala is the current president of Pegasus Speakers Advanced Club, which is in Milton Keynes, but has a number of D91 members as well as D71 members and people from all over the world. And what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about advanced clubs. And we're going to look at the differences between advanced clubs and normal, in kind of air quotes, normal clubs. The differences in terms of the level, what differences in terms of the way that the work and the presentations are kind of put together, because they are different. But really we want to kind of focus on the benefits of advanced clubs for those Toastmasters that want to take their speaking to the next level. And also talk a little bit about setting up an advanced club, because it's not just as straightforward as setting up your general community club. And anything that you've got that you want to know about advanced clubs, then we will try and get your questions answered this evening. And it's just going to be a bit of a conversation tonight. So rather than just being a formal webinar of lots of slides, it's just going to be a bit of a conversation between Kala and myself as to just building up the picture and answering some of the general points around advanced clubs. So Kala, very good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Andy. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. And good evening.
So I think, first of all, do you want to just tell us a little bit about Pegasus itself and how long it's been going for and why it was set up?
Wow. Okay. Well, I was invited to set up an advanced club in 2019. But I was super busy. I'm a lone parent. I work for myself, and life was crazy busy. I was also a club coach, helping a club get back on track again. So I didn't really know what was involved in setting up an advanced club at the time, but I was actively encouraged to do so. I said, well, how does it work? What's the difference? I said, well, it's a bit like you setting up your own business, because I've helped other startups and set up businesses in the past, and they've all been very successful. So, the message was, it's very easy. It's a bit like setting up your own business. And I said, oh, okay, fair enough. All right. if it's that easy, I'll give it a go. So I started looking into and researching the Advanced Club ideas, initiatives, options early 2020, so early last year. And I kind of thought, well, I'm really not quite sure about this. There's so many different types of advanced clubs, and a lot of them focus on specific things. Some of them focus on evaluations. Some of them focus on, improv, just different things. And I thought, well, I'm also a member of the PSA, so and there's quite a difference. There's quite a bit of a gap between the PSA and and normal Toastmaster clubs. So I went back and I said, well, if you really want me to set this up, then it will be totally different, because what I'd like is something that actually works on the whole person, a real wholeness and holistic with a W approach, which is, so it's not just about evaluations, it's not just about speechcraft and delivery, it's about voice care, setup, thinking about putting an event on, and all the different elements that go into speak, particularly now online. You can't just show up and everything's done for you. You kind of have to put it all the stage and scene setting together yourself, including the equipment, etc. So, and also how we look after ourselves, our voice care, our energy speaks louder than our words, because that's what I talk about, the power of human energy. So I thought, okay, I would want to put something together that actually helps a speaker and anybody also interested in leadership to actually work on all those elements. So they said, yeah, fine. Well, that's the beauty of putting an advanced club together. I said, yeah, but I actually want it to be accessible for professionals. So professionals enhancing professionals. So it's not just about Toastmasters, it's actually for professional speakers, presenters, people who are using presentations and any kind of public facing, public speaking events or initiatives, in their everyday business world, everyday life outside of Toastmasters. And said, yeah, you could do that. So 2 weeks before the first lockdown, I found premises. And it was fantastic. The deal was awesome. It was in Central Milton Keynes. We had access to the big stage, little stage. It was just absolutely perfect. But then lockdown. And so they said, we are shut. We're going to be closed for a year. So I went back to the drawing board, and then I thought, right, okay, but what do I do now? And they said, well, you can set it up online. And then when we can meet, you can have a hybrid club. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's an idea. Because by that time I was actually visiting online clubs anyway, and they were so much fun. So that's how we went about setting up Pegasus. Now, I just did a bit of a research first, a bit of a poll to see who would be interested. If we did this is the vision, a club that's going to enhance your professional speaking skills, but it's not just about evaluation and speechcraft or stagecraft or online presentations. It's about everything, and also an opportunity to network with other professionals. So I couldn't believe just how many people were interested. We chartered before having a single proper meeting. We chartered on the 11th of June. So we'll be celebrating our first birthday this year on the 11th of June. And we had our launch celebration on the 4th of July, Independence Day. So Pegasus took its wings on Independence Day. So that's kind of where it all started. Not that long. And we're very much looking forward to our first birthday in June.
Fantastic. So I think big congratulations for that, because setting up a club is difficult enough. Doing it during lockdown, I think doubly so. And one of the things you touched on there was the fact that with an advanced club, you can be very, very specialized in terms of what you're offering. What for the Toastmaster that's been in Toastmasters a couple of years, what's the big benefit of being able to make that specialization?
Well, you're actually, people say you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Yeah. So it's because it's a professional setup. It's not for people who actually just want to go along and have a bit of a social, something to do, kick a few tires, have a bit of a banter, and check the football results. It's not that kind of club. You're surrounded by people who are experts in all sorts of ways. We have a lot of professional speakers who are already doing it, people with DTMs and, as I say, professional speaking association members as well. And so you're amongst some amazing, talented expertise. And so the rate of your growth and development is rapidly accelerated. I mean, I've had feedback already. We're not even a year old yet, and have had so much feedback from our members saying that they've had things like work promotions. They're so much more confident. Interview skills, just life outside of Toastmasters has been really, really supportive and helpful from what they've learned and what they've tried and experienced at Pegasus. So it will actually help you grow in confidence quicker. Any advanced club will do that, because you are amongst some, so talented, experienced individuals, and is mentoring. And we're very, very big on mentoring. And a lot of these advanced clubs are brilliant. They've got some exceptional people that can mentor you. Mentoring and coaching, in my value terms, I personally think it's the gift that keeps on giving. Mentoring, good quality mentoring and coaching is a gift that keeps on giving, because the things you learn will stay with you forever, for the rest of your life. I mean, if you look at some of these wonderful, talented individuals that have made it on the big stage, Mohammed Katani, Simon Bucknell, and they speak about their members and their mentors and their coaches in that frame. So that's a beautiful example where people have access to those good quality mentors who will, see your vision, understand your goals, help you clarify your dreams from your goals, and actually put you on the right path, hold you accountable, encourage you, inspire you, and help you achieve all those things. I mean, at Pegasus, we ask people, when they come, we interview everyone. It's not a interrogation, it's a conversation of what are your hopes and goals? What do you want to get out of Pegasus? How can we support you? How can we help you? And how would you like to contribute? Every single person has that kind of conversation. So we understand what trajectory people are on, what timescales people are running to. So we get to understand their method, and they understand our method. So we help them get them on message, to be on message, to create memorable results, and give them something measurable, metrics that matter. So it's helping people create those ideas, innovate them, incubate them, and initiate them. So, I would highly recommend anybody who is serious about developing their public speaking, or leadership skills, or understanding how to run an event or MC, planning, listening, just all those communication skills. You definitely should be at an advanced club, because that will accelerate your development in a really excellent way.
And I think that the important thing is that all of these additional bits and pieces, all of the, as Kala was saying, things like the improv, the evaluations, everything it's still based on the Pathways education program. So there's no difference in terms of the education program. Everybody's still going for their levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the whole curriculum is not different just because an advanced club. In fact, if anything, it's more focused on making sure that your paths are giving you even more value. So, because I think there's been a bit of confusion at times about, do advanced clubs do the same material? Yes, advanced clubs do exactly the same material, but the focus is just making sure that the progression is just that little bit better, that little bit crisper, isn't it?
It is. And also, you see, when you're actually understanding people's goals and aspirations, pathways is actually quite useful to actually help guide them through that. So they, I mean, they choose, we all choose our own paths, and you can do as many pathways as you want to. And actually, it's quite useful because it's a very useful tool to give them reward and recognition. We're very, very big on reward and recognition at Pegasus. I think it's really, really important, to celebrate people's achievements, how far they've come, how far they've grown. And it spurs them on. They want to do more. They want to get involved more. They want to participate more and contribute more, which is brilliant. I mean, we're looking at, I think, 60 members currently. We've got 3 more people on the wait list at the minute. So we must be doing something right. But understanding, what people want, and how they want it, and actually how can they be supported through it? How can we mentor them through it? How can we hold them accountable and keep them on track? And celebrate every time they get the level 1, 2, 3, etc. It's great. And we also encourage people to get involved with some of the extra projects that we do, because that counts towards their level 4, level 5 initiatives, their HPLs, high performance leadership, initiatives, and projects as well. So we offer plenty of opportunity for people to get involved. And at Pegasus, we have our own contest as well. We don't just participate in the international Toastmasters contests and topics and humour. We also have our own contest as well. I think you're familiar with the trophy, Andy, being a Pegasorian.
Absolutely.
We had in the winter we have an after dinner speech contest. That was our first one, and the winner of that spoke at our Christmas event, which was the Great Gatsby Gala event, Christmas party online, and it was absolutely brilliant. I was so worried because we if it had been a physical meeting, we would have had a live Zoom link to all the members that couldn't be there, but it would have been amazing. So it was disappointing that we had to then revert it to an online meeting, but pleasantly, surprisingly, it was really good, really cool, and the feedback we had was outstanding. So we're definitely looking forward to the one that'll come up this year. And as a result, we've got a spring contest, which will be the keynote contest. And the winner of that will be speaking at our end of year gala awards and birthday party in June. Probably won't be the 11th of June unless it's on a Saturday. So yeah, then that helps.
Absolutely.
So sorry, Annie, go on.
No, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, we see therein lies another opportunity. I mean, Vicky did contest chairing with her a trio of people with regards to a project that counted towards her DTM and her HPL. We also held a boot camp in preparation for the finalists, and again, that was an extra project that would count towards a pathways project. And we did something similar. We had a fantastic boot camp. I think some people here did attend that as well. Last Saturday, for people preparing for the international speech contest. And we had some guest speakers. Simon Bucknell, Ferguson, and we had a voice coach as well, who's not a Toastmaster, but she is a professional voice coach and a professional speaker. And it was brilliant. And the feedback we've had from that was unanimously 5 stars, because we do ask people to review everything we do. And as a result of that, we will be running another one in preparation for the keynote and future international and human contests as well. So everybody gets involved. There's an opportunity for everybody to get involved and really get stuck in, which is great, good fun.
Fantastic. So when you were setting up the club, you did a lot of research and visited a number of the advanced clubs. Was there any part of the advanced clubs that you thought, absolutely no, I really don't like this, I don't find this comfortable, I don't find this particularly a positive experience?
Hello, Andy. Every advanced club is different. you know, they've got their own personality, their own character, their own culture. It was quite, some of them, the ones that I was less impressed with were the ones that were not very different to a normal community club. And in fact, you know, so on a couple of occasions they were doing less than a normal community club, so I kind of couldn't see the point. Having been past president of a couple of local clubs, and you know, we were pretty on top of it, you know, and again, encouraging people to grow, and mentoring. And we had lots of wonderful things in place. Not all advanced clubs have masterclasses. We do have a masterclass. And the other thing that we the thing that was important to me, I mean, I'm lucky, I'm quite well connected, so that helps. But I wanted to invite masterclass speakers who weren't necessarily Toastmasters. If they are, it was a bonus, but people who are actually actively delivering training or coaching or mentoring in their particular craft. For example, we have, you know, Caroline, who's the speech coach, and she came and did, you know, a masterclass on voice care and everything that's involved in looking after your voice. And we had another professional speaker who spends you know, his professional life giving you know, presentations and doing gigs, paid for gigs and events on how to set up, you know, how do you use your online real estate, what kind of mic you should be using, what about lighting, all these things that I've never come across at Toastmasters. You know, nobody covered that, you know, of any of the meetings I've been to, and I've been a Toastmaster since, you know, 2013. So about 7-8 years. And so, you know, that kind of masterclass and training was like, it was like gold dust. And, you know, being able to offer that for free to our members was amazing. And the feedback, as I said, we've had for every single masterclass has been brilliant. And we have had some amazing Toastmasters, as I say, Mohammed Katani and, you know, Simon Bucknell, and the list goes on. We've got the whole calendar already booked for this year already. And what's really, really great as well, thank you, I'm so grateful, is that we have speakers and presenters who actually want to come and deliver a masterclass at Pegasus, because they've said, it's such a great environment. We are a member-centric club. So we try and create a lovely, warm, accessible experience, a welcoming experience. So people want to be there. You know, when they say, gosh, that goes so quickly. That's the, you know, that was the quickest 2 hours of my life. Where you just blink and it's just gone. So it is great when people come along, they look forward to coming, and they go away energized, and they don't want to go. You know, I'm sitting there, you know, when you're on a Zoom and say, right, okay, I'll hang about for a few minutes if anybody's got any questions. And they are, there's a whole room full of people still sitting there, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to want my dinner in a minute. My family's waiting for me. But, you know, it's wonderful that people, even after 2 or 3 hours, they don't want to go. It's brilliant. So long may that continue.
I think, you know, that's one of the key things, is that when we're talking about advanced clubs, they have to be recognisably different to a community club, both in terms of how they're stretching their members and also the services and the type of activities that they provide. So for those people who are maybe thinking about an advanced club, then those are kind of two of the real key things that you need to be thinking about. You know, when you look at an advanced club, and there aren't actually that many advanced clubs around. There's only about 3 or 4 in District 91. There's only about 3 in District 71. So there isn't an awful lot of choice, but they do offer slightly different things. So if you are thinking about taking that next step to being an advanced member, then find out what the different ideologies are of the clubs, what the different purposes of the clubs are. Certainly, I know that Cornerstone, which is on the very, very border of 91 and 71. They do an awful lot of things like improv. They do an awful lot of valuations. They do a lot of almost theatrical acting and using their speeches to perform, not just to speak. So those are kind of key considerations that you really need if you're thinking about becoming an advanced member. I think the other thing I probably should talk about is with advanced clubs, because of the way that most of the club constitutions are written, you need to be a dual member. So you need to be already an existing member of Toastmasters before you can join the advanced club. And I know that's certainly the case at Pegasus, and it is at Cornerstone.
Well, we have a bit of a get out clause, because that, to me, I did say this at the time, if I'm going to set it up, that would be like commercial suicide. You know, Jeff Bezos didn't stick to just selling books, and look what happened to Amazon. So as soon as we had the lockdown situation, I said, you know, this is a professional club. As long as somebody is actually a professional speaker or using speaking in a professional capacity, then, and they pass that interview, then we will consider them. And we do. As I said, we have PSA members that aren't Toastmasters, and these guys are delivering speeches, and they make a lot of money out there speaking. So you know, I think it depends what no two club constitutions are the same, but we do encourage people to be dual members. We do encourage people to, you know, go and join a local community club as well, because it's different, and they'll see the difference as well, and appreciate us more as well, hopefully. So, and it's a great way of actually, particularly if they've got goals with their, you know, pathways and projects, then it's not a great opportunity for them to, you know, get through those as well. So
yeah. And one of the things that is quite common with people who are members of advanced clubs is that they will have their two pathways, and they will often keep those pathways very, very different. So they'll run one pathway in their community club and one pathway in their advanced club. And it just gives them a little bit more flexibility in terms of doing their pathways. They manage to get through their levels quite quickly. And also it gives them a different perspective as well. So when you're learning your advanced skills, you can then take and put it to practice on your other pathway as well. So those are some really kind of important considerations to have when you're thinking about being a member of an advanced club. And it really is, if you want to take your Toastmaster skills to the next level, then something that really is, it's something that would be recommended, although a lot of people still aren't really that aware of advanced clubs and the fact that you can actually stretch yourself with these. And I think that's, you know, stretching yourself is possibly one of the biggest benefits that you get, because you are in contact with these kind of people, the Simon Bucknalls, the James McGinty's, who are very well-known speakers, who are very good speakers. You're naturally kind of dragged along with them to their level, rather than dragging them down to your level. They kind of drag you up to their level. And the same goes with a lot of the other clubs as well. I know Ace of Clubs and Excalibur as well. They're brilliant in terms of being able to pull people up and to really stretch them, which is kind of one of the key things that we want to get out of this for people is, you know, if you want to take that next step. A lot of TEDx speakers as well want to go on and be part of advanced clubs to practice for their TEDx, to start working towards a TEDx, because that's, again, for some people, you know, some people, they may just be quite happy being a better speaker. For some, their goals are standing on that red circle on a TEDx stage, and, you know, for others it's bigger and better things.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got two TEDx coaches as members, and we've run a couple of TEDx masterclasses, which we've got a couple more coming up this year as well, because that is, you're right, Andy, it's a very popular subject. and there's at least 2 people who are currently, 2, maybe 3 people now, who are currently training to get ready to go on to TEDx at some point within the next year or 2. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah, people really do have some people do have those aspirations, and we support them.
And I think that's part of the nature of advanced clubs as well, in that because of the way they're set up, they are designed to help spot the talent and spot when somebody really can do with that boost. And so I think that's another key thing as well. It's having that support there, not just the mentoring and the coaching, but just the almost pastoral support within the club, to be able to push on. And certainly I know members of a whole range of advanced clubs. I've seen them 6 months, 12 months after they've started, and they're unrecognisable as a speaker.
Yeah. Well, we've had that, particularly after doing the after dinner speech contest as well. And the feedback we've had is like, wow, I cannot believe just how much more I've learned and how much more I've grown in confidence, that inner confidence. Because we did, as I say, had a couple of really great, robust boot camps. And we saw people grow, from the first speech to the final speech. It was like you were listening to a totally different person. So that's definitely evidence, that it works. And then, as I say, unlike other clubs, I don't know how, what the agendas are like with all the other advanced clubs. But no 2 of our meetings are the same. We have different themes, different events, all sorts of crazy things. That hard work is setting the Easy Speak agenda. We have to have at least 2, if not 3 people helping on the VPU role, because it's a big job. So the downside to advanced clubs is that you do need a bigger exec team, because there is a lot to do. I mean, the amount of hours that you put in, it's relentless. But the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So in the trick is that you have to care. And I'm very, very blessed that my team care as much as I do, because success is a team sport. We all need people. It's not a solo sport.
Absolutely. One of the things I know that Pegasus do, I know that a number of other clubs do as well, is possibly one of my favourite types of meeting, which is the reverse agenda. So for those of you who haven't come across the reverse agenda yet, do you want to just explain the sheer madness this entails?
Well, yeah, basically we flip the whole agenda. So you start off with your meeting evaluator, and then the evaluations go first. So you're evaluating a speech that you haven't heard yet. Now, this actually calls upon the speaker's listening skills as well as the evaluator's listening skills, because the evaluator, depending on who you've got, if they're really cruel, they're going to put all sorts of tricks in there. And then it's up to the speaker to actually, make sure they weave those in to their delivery as well. Oh, the first one was hilarious. The first 2 ones that we did, they are very, very funny, very entertaining, because the general evaluator said, and somebody did a mic drop, and somebody did, and they actually did do the mic drop. So everything that the general evaluator actually suggested did actually get carried out. So it was brilliant. It's really, really funny. And we've got another 2 planned coming up. We also did things like the hot air balloon ride, Dragon's Den, the elevator pitch, because we all need to know how to do an elevator pitch. It's not just for sales, but can you imagine if you get in the lift with your favorite person, you've only got 3 seconds, 3 minutes, however long it is, how are you going to make a memorable impression? So we did that at the beginning of this year, actually, and that was really, really interesting. So we have great fun, great ideas, and I say it's wonderful, because it's a great way to incubate, initiate, and innovate, and then put it into place. And it's making it yummy. It's making sure it's having fun. We're all volunteers at the end of the day. Everybody's a paid up member, so not for profit. And so, if we're not having fun, we're not really learning. So to me, one of my core values is, make it yummy, have fun, because people will learn more and it's more memorable.
Absolutely. Although the reverse agenda should not be attempted with a bunch of very, very new people to Toastmasters.
No,
that will
that's
freak
cruel.
them out severely.
That would. Absolutely.
You get bonus points if you actually manage to hit the timings that you're given as well, which is quite
Yes.
good. So Benjamin's asked a couple of questions. He said, first of all, hot air balloon. Do you want to just expand on the hot air balloon?
Yes, so we have different themes. So the hot air balloon is basically the one that we did last year. We had famous people in this hot air balloon. We had Socrates, Coco Chanel, Steve Jobs, Tesla, Joan of Arc, and someone else I can't remember. And anyway, so each person had to do a speech, and they all dressed up in their characters. It was fantastic. So they did a 5 to 7 minute speech, and then they were voted out. So only one person could stay in the balloon. Everybody was chucked out the balloon, metaphorically, of course. And Steve Jobs won that one. He was brilliant. And the guy that did that one, he had an American accent, and he's not American, and he held that accent all the way through. It was brilliant. It was so yeah, we're gonna do that one again. So you just have to, it was evil geniuses, it was called. You had to be an evil genius and prepare a speech based on a true character. We've also done Call My Bluff. That's a hot favorite. People love that. And Would I Lie to You? That's quite good fun too.
Sam said, how do you manage 60 people? Is it hard to satisfy speech requests, or do people have to wait 6 months between speeches?
No, this is why we have 3 meetings a month, because when people join, not everybody can come to every single meeting. This is how we can afford to have 60 people, because not all of them can turn up to every meeting. We meet every first Tuesday, every second Thursday evening. That's an evening meeting, 6:15 for a 6:30 start. Typically it runs till about 8:30, unless we have a masterclass, in which case it might run a little bit longer. And then we meet every 4th Saturday, and that's during the day. It's a daytime meeting. We meet at 9:45 for a 10 o'clock kickoff, and that normally runs with 2 breaks until about 1 o'clock. And typically we will have a masterclass or a special event or something big going on that Saturday. For extra meetings, we run speakathons, topics, bonanzas, and things like that. But they're extra meetings. So yeah, people don't have long to wait. We have reserve role takers, reserve speeches as well. And typically we'll have at least 5 to 6 speeches in an evening. So, but the longer ones we save on to a Saturday. And the bigger projects, we make special efforts to actually put on those extra meetings for those bigger projects. And it works. So far, so good.
And I think as well, because it is an advanced club, and because people know how it's going to stretch them, they are far more engaged when it comes to wanting to attend the meetings, when it comes to wanting to put their names down. So it's creating that buzz within your advanced clubs that make people want to really turn up. So your local community club might be struggling to get 10, 12 people a week, because not every member is motivated and is, some of them quite happy to plod on, whereas often members with advanced clubs are the ones really, really motivated to be able to push their Toastmasters journey, the ones that really want to start to push themselves towards DTMs. And that's where you start to get a lot of this engagement. And because obviously with Pegasus, there's quite a lot of speaking time in a month. it helps. And again, the flexibility and the beauty we have with Zoom is that, you know, advanced clubs can have that extra time. They can slot in a Saturday meeting. They can have extra meetings in the evenings if they need to help clear the backlog. But generally, they find that people are willing to take part because they're so enthused about it. John says, should we not work to make our clubs better than start advanced clubs? I think that's an interesting point there, John, because yes, we should, but I think that what we're trying to talk about is that if you make community clubs too advanced, you're going to make it difficult for new members to really get involved with, whereas with the advanced clubs, it's about that next level.
Well, I'm also a club coach. I've been a club coach to 2 corporate clubs and also currently a club coach to Cambridge, which is a normal community club. And it's doing really very, very well. We've put some initiatives together to make them better. We've gone from 10 to 21 members currently. It's one of those clubs where there's a lot of transition because they have students that go home, and COVID has, you know, really hurt them. And so we've had to create some initiatives to that they can do as a normal club, and it's great. It's such a cute club. So and they have fun. So we've put lots of new things in place to help them to make it better for them. Now, one thing that they did try, the previous VPE, sorry, she tried putting master classes in, which is what we do. That ate up a lot of time. So normal members couldn't get their speeches in. And it's a lot of effort for a community club to keep finding fantastic masterclass presenters because it's not really set up for that. So, we kind of did a bit of a check on that, and I said, I'd probably do it if you're going to do a masterclass, do it as a special event. If you're going to do a workshop, do it at a special event, maybe, once a quarter or something, or in your open evening or an open event. But to do it every meeting is not a healthy idea. And so thankfully, we managed to get back on track, and that club is doing really very well now, and it should get at least select distinguished, if not more, by the end of the Toastmaster year. So I absolutely agree with you, John. I think there's a lot we can do for our local community clubs, and I think being advanced Toastmaster doesn't mean to say we keep our eye off the ball, as many of us are dual members, and so we can support our community clubs through what we learn in the advanced clubs. So absolutely, you can cascade the skills that you learn and pass that down to community clubs.
Fantastic.
Hope that answers your question.
So Mary has asked, I was wondering when this question was going to come up. How does chartering work with an advanced club? Presumably you don't need 17 brand new members.
You have to have, I think it's 17 dual members, at least 17 dual members to start an advanced club. And then after that, I think you can, so long as they fit the criteria and you can prove that the members fit the criteria, then you're fine. We were very lucky. We had 36 dual members who wanted to join Pegasus and who paid up to join Pegasus before we even chartered. So yeah, I think that's the criteria. You need to check the small print again. I mean, it's not like setting up a business. Chartering a club is like jumping through burning hoops. And I mean jumping through burning hoops and having a lot of sleepless nights. And try doing it during COVID, because getting a bank to speak to you, I get more joy out of my brick wall. Chocolate teapots are a lot more useful. So it was very, very hard. I mean, thankfully we did. I mean, getting a bank sorted out is probably, the biggest challenge during this pandemic. So if anybody's thinking of starting a club, any kind of club really, sort the bank out first, because otherwise somebody else is going to have to use their own bank. Thankfully, we didn't have to do that, but it still took another 8-9 months to get a second signatory on. So it's those little things, those back office, time-consuming things, are a real prickly pain. So nobody tells you about things like that, and you have to get the paperwork right. There's a lot of paperwork when you're chartering the club, so that's the time-consuming bit. I mean, and it will take up at least 80-90% of your time, and then the fun begins. Once you're chartered, then the fun begins. But even then, as I say, how you do anything is how you do everything, and you can't stop caring. You know, once you charter a club, you don't, it's not a holiday after that. You've got to be on top of it. You've got to be planned, super planned. You have to keep your eye on the ball with everything that's going on, keeping in touch with your members. How are they doing? How are they finding it? Getting feedback from everybody. How's it running? And making tweaks and nips and tucks where you need to, in between every single meeting. So feedback is precious. It's not just for evaluations, it's, understanding what's working for people, timings, and how people are treating each other as well. See, we have our own values at Pegasus, and everybody understanding that it's not political, it's not bureaucratic. We're here to support each other and to help each other. It is a member-centric club. And I think that's important. Know what your club's values are. What's your vision? What does it stand for? And have a committee, an exec team that support that share those values, because you're going to need it. You're going to need a strong exec team. And when you do the storming, norming, forming thing, you lose a few people, and you have to be prepared, to fail fast. Don't carry coasters, because it'll hold you back. Fail fast, and bring on people who are going to row in the same direction.
Fantastic. And I think just finally, there are differences in terms of the application for a community club and an advanced club. There is more research that's needed, isn't there?
Sorry, you dropped out there, Andy. I didn't hear that.
I said, when it comes to all the paperwork for chartering, there is more research that's needed and more information that's needed when you're setting up an advanced club as opposed to just a normal community club.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, because you won't be able to just get it through. A normal community club is different, but with an advanced club, you have to prove all sorts of things. And so, yeah, do your research and go and check out other advanced clubs. Every one of them is different. Know your why. Why do you want to set it up? What problem will it solve? What's it going to do for the community? What's it going to do for your members? Why would your members want to come? Why would they stay? What would you put in place to help them to continue to keep growing? It's like that. It is like running a business. You have to have vision and an entrepreneurial spirit. And the other challenge is having an exec team and assistants and associates that can share the vision and are sworn in and invested in keeping the vision going. That's quite important, because you can't let your foot off the accelerator. You've got to just make sure it's going to keep going. This is why we planned the whole calendar already. We don't wait until this month to plan next month. You have to. Well, the way I do things, I make sure everything's in place, so everybody knows what they're doing. We can get on with it. We're putting the fun bits in then for people.
Fantastic. So it's 8 minutes before 8. I've seen the tops of lots of people's heads today as they've been kind of looking down as they've been writing, and so I think we've had a lot of people that have taken some really good notes on this. I
hope it was helpful.
Yeah. So have we got any more questions? Sam said, "How did you advertise the launch of the new club?"
How did we advertise it? Oh, the PR team, we put a flyer together for everything we do. The PR, there's 2 guys on PR and me. I'm a bit of a of a perfectionist. I try not to be, but you know, always I do leave them. I have learned to leave them alone a little bit. But yeah, we put together flyers that we then put on Eventbrite, Facebook, Meetup, and we put the launch we did as a special launch. We got the keynote speaker and we got a presentation, a masterclass. Both of them are now Pegasaurians. They wanted to join us. So that was a result. And we marketed it. We basically, and it was free for them to come along to the launch. So it was like an open evening, open event, and it was so much fun. We had lots of fun things going on. So it wasn't just them coming along to see a keynote or a masterclass. It was sharing the vision, telling them about, you know, what Pegasus is all about, what we're offering, and then giving them a little taste of that. And we didn't even have to give them a special offer to join. It was great. You know, they came along, they had fun, and then people said, where do I sign? Where do I pay? How much you want? When? And that's the other thing, Advance, you know, we've been quite lucky as well. I think people are so invested in what we're doing. We've had to say it's a year's membership is annual every year, not every 6 months. Because I know some community clubs, you know, we did start off thinking we're going to have to give people that option, 6 months or annual membership, but actually we don't need to. 6 months flies by as it is, and whilst you're online as well, it's a lot easier to do annual membership. So yeah,
I think what we might do is when I send out the link with the YouTube link in, Carl, if you send me the link to your promotional video that you did the launch on, we can include that.
It's on our website,
Okay.
the pegasusspeakers.com. I'll put it in the chat.
If you want to check out they did this lovely sort of snazzy video, promotional video, which is really well worth watching. Fantastic. Yeah. So thank you, Jenna. I just put the address in the the chat there. So we've got a couple more minutes left. Are there any more questions from the audience at all? Not hearing anything.
I hope I've covered everything. I hope that was helpful anyway. I hope I've covered everything.
Oh, I've certainly seen a lot of nodding heads, and yeah, Helen's just posted in the Advanced Club thing. Oh, and Antonia has a question. Go ahead, Antonia.
You work with voice. I lost my voice 17 weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ginger tea is very good. I lost my voice for 6 months. So vocal exercises, don't whisper because that'll make it worse, and ginger tea.
Just me shouting. My NHS voice therapist has been moved on to COVID duties indefinitely.
What's your question, Antonia? How can I help?
What do you do? How can I contact you?
Well, my day job is I'm a mentor, coach, and a speaker, and you can contact me. I'll leave my email here. I'm also on LinkedIn. If you look me up on LinkedIn. I hope that's helpful. Oh, the other thing I should say, Andy, sorry, I forgot this one. My bad. We also have exclusivity at Pegasus. So we're not an open club. So during our normal meetings, we don't have visitors. And that's another way that we get every single member to speak. Everybody gets an opportunity to speak. The only time we have visitors is when they pop along to our masterclass. So that's the only time we open the masterclass up to everybody, particularly in the area, and we share that. But the actual meetings, if they're just standalone meetings, whatever event we're running, it's exclusive. So sorry about that, Andy. I thought I'd not mention that.
No, that's fine. Ivan's got his hand up. Ivan, you got a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Can indeed, yes.
Okay. I would like to ask a question. can a fellow Toastmaster attend some of the meetings of the advanced clubs as a guest? First and second, is there a spot where I can find a list of advanced clubs, maybe to choose between 5 or between 10?
Yes, you can. Well, let me check one question at a time. So yes, you can attend advanced club meetings. Each advanced club will have their own criteria. Some of them are open. Not all of them are open. As I say, we only open our meetings if we're having a masterclass. And you can find, if you follow us on Facebook, then we post all our masterclass events on there, so you can come to Pegasus, to any of those if you're not a member. Other advanced clubs will do different things. You might have to pay as well to visit them. I know Cornerstones, you had to pay to go and visit them. I don't know what there is at the moment during lockdown. Forgive me, what was your other question? Oh yes, if you go on to toastmasters.org, the international webpage, I think there is a list. I'm sure there's a list of advanced clubs there. I should think they're probably, the list of advanced clubs around the world.
I think you can put a search criterion for advanced clubs there.
Can, yeah.
And actually the advanced clubs.
Does that answer your question, Ivan?
Yes, thank you very much. I have never thought that there might be a list on the Toastmasters.org page.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. Also on Facebook, some of the advanced clubs are actually listed on the Toastmasters Facebook page as well. So you might want to check that out too.
I will check it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ivan. It is pretty much spot on 8 o'clock, so I think we're going to wrap it up there unless we've got any more questions. Thank you very much indeed for your company this evening. Can you just please take yourselves off mute and just give a big round of applause to Kala, please? I think she's done a fantastic job this evening.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andy. Been trying to get me on for ages. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's been a really, really useful hour, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Next Sunday on the webinar, we will be kneeling and bowing down to the greatness that is Lord Zoom. John Drinkwater will be here talking about Zoom for contests, and we cannot wait for that. It's going to be a really great session, and it's going to be something again very, very different. We try and mix up these webinars. We try and bring you something just a little bit different every week, and we're really looking forward to seeing you, John, next week. And thank you for agreeing to be part of our webinar series as well. It's been really, really good. Whatever you're doing, please have a great week. Stay safe, and if you're in the UK, please stay warm. It's going to be very, very cold. But on behalf of Kala and myself, thank you very much indeed for attending this evening. And we'll see you soon.